Welcome to the show, everybody. I got heavy stuff to do. Well, guys, like I said, I got some heavy work to do. I was lucky the tire man was able to really come through in a pinch. Got that off of there. That was a process, I guess. They tell me that, well, after a couple hours of jackhammering on it, they called and said, I can't get this. What do you want me to do? And I said, well, let me think about it for a day. I'll hit you up tomorrow. Maybe we'll, I thought maybe I'll just take the whole rim, because they had the tire off. I said, maybe I'll just take the whole rim in the cast center and just stick it on the tractor, and maybe I'll either have you come over and put the tire on, or I'll figure it out. I don't know. If you can't get it, can't get it. Well, he texted me 5 minutes later and said I got it, so thanks. But now I got to get all this stuff out of there and at least get the center back on the tractor, because I'm going to feel a lot better about life once it's on there. Tire's no big deal, but the center, that's where the business happens. So let's get to her. Bingo. Okay, well, got her that far. She's heavy, boys and girls. Well, guys, as if that wasn't exciting enough, now I gotta, I'm gonna make that happen. I haven't quite figured all that out yet, but I think I'm just gonna do what I always do. I'm just gonna, be like a chicken and, wing it. I got no choice in the matter. It ain't gonna put itself on. Sure would be nice if it did, though. How in the... And the nice thing with these guys is she only goes on one way, which is great, so you can't screw it up. The hard part is getting it on here that one way. I got this keyway here, and that's it. She got to be on that keyway. Now, so let's take, for example, the centers on my 1805 are the power adjust ones. They're a lot lighter than those, believe it or not. They're still heavy, but they're lighter than those. And you can kind of twist those ones around a little bit. I'm just going to give it my best shot. I got no other choice. So if the keyway is at about the 2 o'clock position, if I run this chain, I might get her close. Hi, George. I think that's going to get me close, guys. Let's wander up there and see. golly. Okay, don't move. Nobody move. Woo-hoo-hoo! Nobody move. Everybody stay right where you are. Some bitch. We got it. Good. Let's get this thing out of here. Whew. And I tell you what, guys, getting this big son of a bitch off was not smooth, but putting it back on was, thankfully. Okay, now I can start the rest of what I wanted to do here. Well, there, guys, now that we got all the hard work done, it's time to get the easy work done. So here's my plan for the day. Yes, I understand I'm wearing a different shirt than the last 5 minutes ago. It's a day in the future. Give me a break, you know. So here's what we're going to do. I've got to get from here, all this, up under here, here, and I'm even going to go around the corner and get half of the very back of this, the underside, and the hub. Primed and painted today. So I can take the big wheel, roll it on here, and I can get this thing standing back up on all fours, loosen up the other side, and, you know, go through the whole process all over again because, well, A, it has to be done. 2, I'm a glutton for punishment. Why wouldn't I? So basically, guys, this is actually gonna, like I said, it's gonna be more of a process than I was hoping. But in order to do it in somewhat of a right manner and keep myself somewhat safe, I'm gonna have to do it corner by corner, and then I can do the hood and the cab and the, well, fuel tank. I can do all those in one shot, so that's not a big deal. But so that's how that's gonna happen. Had quite a few of you ask me if I'm gonna run dual exhaust on this. Well, yes, that would be cool, but the answer is no. No, I am not. Aside from this little conglomeration that someone actually built, I'm going to leave it just single exhaust. I'd like to keep this thing a little bit on the quiet side. Riding in Turd Ferguson is nice because it's just got a nice muffler on it. You can throttle that thing up, leave the radio on. You can hear yourself think. I'd like for this to be very much like that. So no, this exhaust is going to say single, just like my ex-wife. So, with that being said, let's get a sander out. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, it is wise, if you've got areas that have some grease and stuff on them, to scrape and solvent that stuff off of there. If you go to sand, you can impregnate some of that into the metal, and the paint will never stick to it properly. So I've been told. So, let's get this cleaned up and get some primer on it. I scratched the paint. All right, so that's really about as sanded as that's going to get. Just because I've got the answers right here in the palms of my hands. And guys, a lot of you have asked me over the various paint jobs you've seen me do, hey, what do you use for products? Right here. That is probably the best primer that a person could ask for. Sticks to about anything, bare metal, pre-painted, repainted, whatever. That stuff will stick to it. It's sandable, it's corrosion resistant, probably the best corrosion resistant stuff you can use. It's just kind of an all-in-one shot. Instead of having to go with a etch primer, then a fill primer, then a sealer, then your base, then your clear. I do it all with that. Spray it, sand it, top coat it. Are you supposed to top coat over that? Sure you can, absolutely. But anyway, so that's the primer I use. When we get to the paint, I'll show you what paint I always use. And it's the same for every project, be it a car, tractor, dump truck, whatever. I always use the exact same things because I know what works. Anyway, so what I got to do, I got to cover up some of this tractor that I don't want painted just yet because I'm only concentrating on inner frame, underside, and none of that. I'll worry about that stuff later. This is the stuff that's mostly out of sight, out of mind. So, I mean, aside from right about here where this tire comes, like I said, guys, it's going to be better than it probably was from the factory. So, that's good with that. I'm not going to do a damn thing with that plow bracket yet because I'm still not 100% convinced that I'm going to leave it on there. But never mind that now. Let's get back to this. So, like I said, I've only sanded everything with about 120 grit, but I mean, there's a lot to fill in here. There's a lot of gouges, a lot of scratches. I mean, the metal itself is not perfect. It's got a lot of dips and hips and whatever else. So this is going to get two good, and I mean thick coats like your sister-in-law would wear. And we're going to sand her down and get some paint on it. It's going to be real good. So, like I said, that is now clean. It's as good to go as it's going to get. So, time for the good stuff. I got a screwdriver in this place. There's one. So, like I said, guys, this primer is the ticket. Mixing ratio is 4-to-1. 4 parts this, 1 part activator. Easy peasy. Of course, the only paint stick I could find, I got 500 paint sticks laying around until I need one. Now I have one. Now, I don't know exactly how much of this I want to cover that because I want to put her on thick. Maybe I'll do about 12 ounces worth. Let's try that. Okay, so all you math scholars out there, 4-to-1. I have 12 parts. 4 times 3 is 12. I need to bring this up to 15 ounces. And there we are. I got enough paint strainers to last me the rest of my life, but like I said, can't find a paint stick. Figures. Oh well, it is what it is. Nothing I can do to change that now. Except for stop everything I'm doing and go to town, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's do this. First paint my new shop. Many more to come. There, guys, that's miles ahead of where we were here. I'm gonna let that dry for, I don't know, whatever it says on the can. Usually, depending on the weather, anywhere from a half hour to 2 days. We're gonna be closer to that half-hour time frame today. All right, friends, time to move forward. Our Imron primer is dry to top coat. Now, on the package label, if you want to top coat this, this is a primer that you do not have to sand. It dries pretty darn smooth. You can sand it for optimal appearance, but you got to give it a day. But like I said, I like it because it's industrially strong, remains somewhat flexible. Just got a lot of good qualities that I like. That's just me. Do whatever you want. So the paint that I use, granted the label on this is long gone. This is, here's a label for you, what they call Nason Full Base, made by Axalta, which for the rest of you guys like me that have been doing this for a few minutes, Axalta is who bought out DuPont. Once upon a time, like 25 to 30 years ago, this is basically the same formation as the old Chroma Base was. Not the Chroma Base they got now, but nevertheless, it's still a pretty top quality paint. I've been painting with it for years, and I like it a lot. By the way, I went to town and got myself some more mixing cups, you know, because I didn't have any. But nevertheless, so guys, this stuff is very, very, very easy to use. 1 part base to 1 part reducer spray. Here's the reducer for this. This is the mid-temp reducer because it is mid-temperature outside. Okay, now, time for a gun. If you were curious as to what kind of gun I use for my top coats, this guy right here, the 3M PPS system. This is a top-of-the-line kind of a gun. Basically, you can change everything. The tips are changeable, cups, the whole. There's 3 different size tips here. I think there's a 1.0, 1.3, and a 1.6, but don't hold me to that. I like the 1.3 tip. It seems to be, for the conditions that I paint in, it seems to work best. But if you're curious, because I've had people ask me what kind of gun I use too, so it's that one. Not the most economical spray gun to use, but when it comes to spraying, I mean, I'll cut a corner here and there and buy a little bit cheaper paint, not the super cheap paint, because you'll pay for that more in the long run. But I'm not going to buy the $300 a quart Chroma Premier Super Base. That's kind of not for me, but I'm also not going to buy the $40 a gallon Tractor Supply red on something I want to last more than, a few days. But that's just me. Okay. Again, not the most economical. You got to buy the little condoms for it, these little filters, but it's going to give you a top of the line paint job. These are pretty easy to use. Okay, let me suit up. I'm ready. I will end up spraying this at about 10 psi, and that's going to be that. Here we go. Here guys, that's basically what you're gonna have with a base coat job. Now you might be saying, hey, you didn't miss, or you didn't get a bunch of that wheel. Well, no shit. It's gonna be covered by wheels, so I got the important part. You might also be saying, hey, you only put, which I only showed you, one coat of paint on that. Why not put a little extra, for a little more protection? Common misconception, guys. Base coat, clear coat paints. And I can't speak for everybody's brand, but I can speak for the old DuPont because that's what I've been working with for the last 25 years. The DuPont, you just need enough for color hiding. That's it. Just put enough paint on to get it red. All your protection comes from the clear. The red paint does nothing except for look red. So we're gonna let that flash off. Depending on the weather, guys, the amount of flash time I need before I can put clear on this is, anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. But basically, as soon as it all goes dull, you shoot her with clear, and that's that. All right, guys. Well, time for some magic. See, I can touch that. Nothing on my finger. I don't recommend you touch your own paint jobs, but this one's mine, so I'll do whatever I want. No big deal. But the finish is dull. You can touch it. It's ready for clear. Let's get some clear on this thing. Okay, and keeping up with what does JT use, here's the answer for my clear. This is certainly not the highest quality clear, but it's fine clear. It does a perfectly good job, and it don't cost you a ton of money. And like I said, I've had great luck with it. Maybe doesn't have the UV protection that a higher end clear will have, but all my stuff sleeps inside anyway, so I don't really give a crap about that. So it's what I'm going to do. 4-to-1 mix, as it says right there, 4 parts of that to 1 part of that. Let me juice this up and let's get some paint shot. All right, guys, that's not bad. I got one good coat on that frame. I'm going to go ahead and put one more coat of clear on that. Then we'll let that dry, roll the wheel around, and this section will be done. Get kind of an idea what we're going to have here. I'm excited to see. Guys, what do you think? I know it's just a very small piece of a very big puzzle, but it definitely does help to give you what a before and after is going to look like on this thing. It should be a pretty good looking tractor when she's all said and done, friends, I hope. But I mean, one way or another, she's going to be a whole lot better than what we started with. So friends, that's going to do her for this part of this project today. I'll probably go ahead and do the other side and just get it done because, well, you've already seen me do it once. Why would you want to watch me do it twice? We'll wait until it gets more exciting to make any more videos about this. And I got lots of other stuff to do. I got to run, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.